Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're
dude.
back to Deuce Honk.
It's Dunce and Duncer back on the screen, dude.
Stuart Little and Stuart Smallest.
You better be smallest.
Yeah.
We're back and we're supercharged today because
Episode 30?
it's episode 30, which is
Crazy.
a good, I mean, dude,
Dude, think of that. It's 30 weeks, over half a year.
30 weeks, each episode being probably on average an hour and 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an hour and 15 times 30.
Doing
30.
math right now.
I don't know, dude. Do the math. 40,
Probably 25,
probably-
a whole day's worth of honkage.
There's probably a work week's worth of our voice
Probably.
corrupting and stupefying any listener.
Melting.
But that's okay because for every bit we stupefy, we also
We gramify.
true.
We
We
got,
make people smarter.
got good grammar here on this podcast.
Dude,
Ain't that
what's my
right?
grammar word of the day? Oh, my phone. Never mind. It's up there.
Stupendous.
I keep stupendous. So let's get into it. I know
Okay.
you had something specific.
Yeah, I'm low-key cooking in the notes.
I saw there was something you want to talk about.
The one
We
thing
we also do have Patreon questions, but I want to hear what you had to say first.
Okay.
You guys will have
Sure.
to wait on the Patreon questions.
Do you want to hit those Patreon questions in the bonus?
No, dude, we'll hit them on the regular.
Okay. Nice. All right, so what I wrote down and what I kind of want to talk about this week is as a question. The question is simply, how do I love myself without loving myself? Do you have any idea what I mean by that?
100%.
You do?
Yeah.
What do you think I mean by that?
How do you love yourself without pride in yourself? Or how do you without being full of yourself? Without thinking you're all that, you know? How do you love yourself? Am I near the scent?
Yeah, you're pretty much there. It's more like how do you know who you are, really? I mean, I think loving yourself means you figure out who you is, grammatically correctly speaking.
Mm-hmm. Which is very topical today because that's all anybody wants to talk about is what they are.
Right. I mean, having a podcast, it's kind of self-centered.
And also for the listeners. That was nice.
Blew the speakers.
Imagine if the recording stopped. But yeah.
Yeah, so...
What made you think of that? Let's get into it.
Well, what else makes me think podcasts? Listening to a podcast on Friday on my way to my parents.
You started loving yourself?
On the way to my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, just driving, loving myself. No. It's kind of it's a question, honestly, that I've been like trying to figure out myself for a little bit.
How long's a little bit?
I don't know. Here and there for like 8 months.
I thought you were going to say years. I was ready.
No. What are you going to say?
No. Okay, 8 months, all right.
I don't know, something like that. But because it's kind of difficult, like, trying to figure out, what's the best way to know kind of when you need to love yourself and when you can love others, really. Because I think there's a better way to do it than just like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I have a bunch of notes written down that I didn't put in the notes, but this is kind of just building up to how to love yourself. Firstly, as this is talking about men, really. Men.
Oh, okay. Patriarchal. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. I have here written down, be confident, take yourself seriously. And there's like, I don't know, there's like a balance between, obviously there's a balance for everything, but balance in your attitude. So like, got to be serious when it's time to be serious, but also like you can know how to take a joke.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to joke.
So being confident. So in order to be confident, though, you have to be. The best way to be confident is to be sure. Like you can be confident if this room had the lights on, I could be confident that the lights are on because the lights are on. That's the best way to be most confident. If the lights were off, I couldn't be confident that the lights were on.
Maybe.
So, for starters, because this is what I thought, and what I've thought in the past.
What's that? I'm gonna
Should you?
I'm gonna turn
love
you up
yourself?
real quick. Is this yours? Number one.
Yeah, I'm one.
I'm
I'm channel one.
I'm gonna turn you up a little bit here.
Okay. Ooh. Now the listeners are hearing me.
All right, what were you saying?
So what I first thought when I saw that question, though, is like for starters, should you love yourself and why? Because at times for me,
Why you should love yourself?
for me, I find it hard to like maybe think of a honorable reason as to why you should love yourself.
Well, I think there's biblical reasons and there's some verses.
Splay them on me.
I don't know the exact book chapter verse, but one that I can point to is love your neighbor as yourself. So there's, it doesn't tell you to love yourself, but it implies that how are you going to love somebody else? If you're going to love your neighbor as yourself, then it implies you love yourself.
Okay.
So, and I mean some reasons as to why you should love yourself is because if you know who you is, then you can love your neighbor. And
so you're saying you're only able to help as much as you have helped yourself in a way.
I think so. Because if you don't know who you are, you don't really know yourself, you don't love yourself really, you may be helping or loving others to get love back, which I don't think is the right way to do it. I think you should be helping and or loving others because that's just who you are, not for anything in return, right?
Okay.
That makes sense?
I think I get what you're saying. Because for me, I've always been like cautious of like loving myself. And I think it's something that I think some people have a difficulty coming to grasp with this, but this has been one of the easier things for me to grasp, is that I'm not a good person.
Okay.
Like, I feel like some people, like...
I don't think anybody is, in the fullest sense of the word, good.
Yeah, but I think that some people find that hard to come to terms with. Like, that nobody's a good person. Because that's usually all people are talking about nowadays, like, oh, you're a good person. It's like, well,
yeah.
By what measure? By what scale? And so for me, whenever I hear of like loving myself, I think it's like, it's starting like, just to get started is uphill.
I think that kind of differs between people. It's a personalized feeling because, I mean, if you grew up in a household with no dad or no mom, or maybe they're both there, but they just don't ever tell you how much they're proud of you or anything like that, then you have no sense of self-worth. And so you just think that you have to be perfect all the time in order for your parents to love you. So it's like, if you grow up in that kind of environment, then you're going to have a really hard time knowing how to love yourself. And I mean, obviously that sucks, but I mean, I'm not a big
for me, that was not that can be the case for other people, but for me it wasn't like, I didn't have those thoughts. Like I can be very logical to a fault. Like for me it's like it's easy to sum up in my life. I'm like, bro, there's no way if I'm a good person, that means that everybody is like the bar for good is not that high. So for me to like, You know what I'm saying? Like
No.
it's
If you're good to everybody, then the bar is low for everybody else.
if I'm considered a good person, the bar is low, bro. Like, and so to assume that everybody's a good person, even though they
Well, I think we're kind of getting off the subject. Being a good person and being loving to yourself and loving yourself is not. I don't think that is the same.
I guess it is a little different, but for me, that I guess the loving self would be easier if you already thought you were a good person. You know, if you thought you were a good person, then you'd be like, oh yeah, it's easy to love me.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I think it comes down to, like, obviously your morals, your beliefs. 'Cause I don't know, 'cause the past 8 months when I've been trying to figure it out, I really started to get into, like, I deep dove into, like, working out and keeping track of everything I do and what I eat. And I know this may sound weird, but it honestly helped me. Like, I'm not saying this is the only thing that made me know who I am, but it helped me a lot because I understood my body more.
Yeah.
I understood, how many calories I need to eat a day to lose some weight or gain weight, how much, all of that stuff. So it helped me out a lot in the sense that I understood my body more. So now I'm like, okay, now that I understand my body, I can understand my mind and I can understand what I believe. Does that make sense?
Dude, I mean, you literally, I don't know, I've never heard anybody say this, but I just thought about it. You literally budgeted, like, your life. Like, you know how you can budget your money and you can, like, sit down and, like, break it down. You're like, hey, if I take in this much, I need to spend this much.
Mm-hmm.
You literally did with your life. And so you could break it down even from, like, the stuff that keeps you alive to the stuff that keeps your spirit alive. So you can, like, budget your mind. That's weird to think about.
I guess that is a way to look at it. Yeah. But it can be super calculated, but also, like I said earlier, there's a balance to everything. So, like, you can go on way overboard with the calculations on that. But yeah, I mean, so I think it's a good practice to learn how your body works before or during trying to figure out your mind, knowing yourself. I don't think it's necessary, but it helps a lot. But the main focus is that you have to be God-centered. You don't have to. You shouldn't think what everybody else thinks of you. That shouldn't be your focus. You shouldn't be trying to.
In order to love yourself, you're saying?
Mm-hmm. You shouldn't care what other people think about you. What
if other people love you? Are you saying that
Great.
one day you could do something that makes them not love you, and then all of your self-worth would be gone because they stopped loving you?
Yeah.
That seems ridiculous.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you put all of your, I don't know, all of your love to one person, obviously it's a person. They're fallible. They're gonna let you down, but God won't. So it's like that's obviously where you got to put your self-worth in.
Okay,
it's God, not a person. So don't care what other people think. Care what God thinks.
Okay,
that helps a lot.
We can stay on this topic, but it's funny because this is almost kind of what some of our Patreon people said. So for this week, for this beautiful picture.
Is that a blobfish?
That's a blobfish.
Okay.
I hit the thumbnail with the blobfish. I said, question, what gives you guys anxiety and what gives you hope? And somebody said, for anxiety, not knowing how someone feels about me based on something I said or did gives them anxiety. And then the hope part was that God knows me and loves me, not because I am perfect as I am, but because he loves his children and promises to hold them close. Which is weirdly similar to what we're talking about.
Well,
with kind of
loyal
terms.
Patreon member, I totally get it. The first part, anxiety, because I struggle with that a lot. Like caring what people think about me.
Yeah.
And I know I just said I don't need to do that. And so it's something I'm working on, but it can be super duper difficult to get over that.
Yeah, dude,
'cause,
if you knew how I felt about you,
don't tell me, I don't
you
care.
would not feel good.
Yeah, no. But like, I mean, growing up for everybody, just growing up for people in general in like high school, middle school, high school, like all you care about is being popular, right? And I think it's normal. You know, you want to be higher up on the hierarchy of being liked, or,
Yeah.
having status, the status hierarchy.
Well, it's like it's whenever we are trying to be popular, what are we trying to get? We're trying to get attention.
We're trying to have
Because
status,
attention
power.
can either be or mimic relationship. Because like the worst thing you can do to a person is what? Put them in solitary confinement. Like that's when people go insane. You lock them in a dark room by themselves. Messes up their head. So
Okay.
I guess that's why we probably have such a big fear of it. Like the fear of, because if people don't feel good about you, then they might not want to give you attention / relationship.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing you want to be in, those early teenage years is isolated. Being alone. That that would suck. Having no friends. So
Yeah,
obviously
bro.
you want to be popular. You want to get up there. Like I said, it's kind of a normal thing to want. If you're is the prepubescent the right word, or pre-adolescent? Probably pre-adolescent.
I mean, it depends on.
Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. Grammarly.
Both could be two, or both could be true under 18. I mean,
I don't know, but yeah, I think it's normal. But I think there's a point where you have to realize that popularity isn't everything. Kind of goes back to putting your self-esteem in God, not in other people.
Okay.
But I kind of on the youth topic. I don't know. Do you want to go back to that question?
No, I was just reading to make sure I wasn't missing anything.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't really a question. I was just kind of picking people's brains because you hear the word anxiety a lot, and so I was curious of like what actually people are anxious about.
I think social media plays a humongous role in that, and I have written down here actually. If you struggle with knowing who you are, get off social media, because it's all fake.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's people on there that you see that it's there's people that go like in California and LA. You heard about those places that you can go and pay your way into, and you can get a picture of yourself on a fake jet.
Yeah.
And all that.
But
It's like,
I don't even think that is the most dangerous part, because I was listening to a book today, and he was basically the book is by John Taylor Gatto about the dumbing us down is what it's called.
dumbing us down.
It's a very short book, but it's a teacher, somebody that taught for 30 years, who basically was talking about how the education system is corrupt and stuff like that, or the schooling system is corrupt. Very good book. But one of the big parts that he was talking about, what's really wrong with our schooling system, is there's virtually no time anymore for somebody to know themselves and to be in touch with themselves, because the average student has 9 hours a week that are reserved for eating and can be spent alone. Like the rest are sleeping, school, activities and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, with that framework, what happens is if you don't have time to be by yourself and know yourself, then your only option that you're left with is to take a bunch of characteristics from other people and use them as your own facade of a personality. Like if I start talking like this, bro, I'm feeling like Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
Like I get, it's just, and it's not always necessarily a bad thing, but it starts to be a bad thing if you never have knowledge of yourself at all, which is a lot of times that's what I think is really damaging about social media. Is you just spend so much time consuming other people's, I hate this word, identity, that you completely forget your own.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a great point. Not knowing yourself and having to be somebody who you're not, you probably heard that a lot, but it's not you, obviously. And I think God created everybody as individuals and with their own strengths and weaknesses. And I think we have to embrace that, can't all be the same. Can't try to be somebody you're not.
I mean, why would he give us all a different fingerprint if we didn't need it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. He could have gave us all the same fingerprint.
He could have.
So do you think, what was the last thing you said? The social media was
Yeah, I
a
was saying
reason
it's
for kind of leading to not loving yourself?
Yeah, because you see people on there that you think that you need to be like that. You need to strive to have all this money and have all these private jets, and that's kind of extreme. But people have like the perfect life, you see on there, and it's
quotations.
Yeah, the perfect life, but it's all fake, and that's not reality. Social media is very much not reality, and young people need to know that. And if you notice that it affects you in that way where you can't figure out yourself, I would say delete it, get off of it. It's very much easier said than done.
But then if I get off of it, Josh, I lose all my community and the relationships that I have with people.
Wrong. Yeah, that's I think that's a very what's the word? It's not miscommunication. It's misinformation. I don't know the difference between
misinformation, fake news.
I don't know the difference between misinformation and disinformation. I feel like they keep coming up with words for that.
Magic.
It's magic.
They're saying random things to confuse people.
It's misinforming people that to tell them that getting rid of social media will ruin their sense of community.
Well, that was actually another part of the book.
Okay.
The part of the book I was reading was he was saying we've actually replaced a lot of communities with networks.
Uh-huh.
And there's a difference between a community and a network, because a network is basically some vampiric, like, what can I get versus how much do I have to give to get stuff? Like, how many likes can I get? What do I have to bring to the table for people to like me? And a community is not at all the same. Like, everybody is working towards a singular goal. Like, a network kind of is like a dot in the center that spreads out into like a huge like tree root. Like, it's like you are just trying to spread out and get as much as possible. Whereas a community is more like the outside is of a web or something working towards a singular goal in the middle. Which is it's kind of hard to think about.
Okay.
But that's like a lot of our communities have been replaced with networks. And they're just these like gross things that steal our time and attention and make us very value based. Like, we grade people like vegetables. Like, you're going through school and you're like, you're a B student, or you're top 7 in your class. Like, you're like, you're fair to Midland, bro. Like, it's literally
swipe left or right.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's the most.
It's how demeaning, bro.
It's the most insane concepts ever, and which is even. I mean, it shouldn't be an excuse for you not loving yourself, but it's definitely not helping.
It's not helping at all. No, I don't think so. Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, if you don't have love, you can't give it, right? So I think.
What do you mean by have it?
Like having a love for yourself.
Okay.
I think another important and this is actually in the podcast that I was listening to, which is a good quote that I'll requote, but it's another reason why you should love yourself. They said, Jesus was good enough to make you good enough, so strive to be the best you can be. So it's just a reminder to know why you're doing it. But I think a good way to start loving yourself, learning to love yourself, is you have to ask yourself, like, what parts about yourself do you not like? And then work on those things, and then kind of critique yourself. So
I'll bring up the opposite side. So what you're talking about is, you're saying, in a sense, you are good enough because Jesus made you good enough.
You are good enough
for starters.
Uh-huh.
But also, and to love yourself, be worthy of love. Like, you're saying you also do things that make you not love yourself less.
Do things to not love yourself less?
Yeah, like if you're doing things that make you not love yourself, do them less.
Oh yeah, sure.
Kind of like if your kids make
you don't like what you're doing, then other people are definitely not going to like what you're doing, and you want to be somebody who people want to be around you, right? So I think it's easy in our culture now, really, like, there's no balance. They swing to one way where it's like, be a doormat to people, just let people run all over you. It's kind of like toxic masculinity, I guess. But lost my train of thought. It's being. What were you saying? I lost my train of thought.
I don't know. I was trying to think of, like, because there's the tension, I think, that people really find in this conversation is, and what's basically causing all of these ideologies now, is that you should love yourself. It's like it's true and it's also not true at the same time. You should love yourself for absolutely no reason other than the person that you are. Like, I'm an African American that
I think I'm
an African American woman, and I should love myself therefore because of that. And there's another tension where maybe people that are completely meritocratic, I can't say that word, would be like, you have to earn every single bit of love for yourself. Like, you're not working hard enough. You're not, educated enough, and you have to, like, earn all of the love for yourself, like, on merit. I think those two things are fighting right now, but they shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, that's where it gets, like, a little
maybe
tricky to explain to people.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. And I'm going to try to explain or give a scenario. So when we say love yourself, what I think the version of loving yourself is, it's not just accepting who you are. It's not just like, it's not being like me, I'm bad at math. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just not naturally good.
I can attest.
I'm just not naturally good at math.
I've seen this man.
I'm not going to be like, I just suck at math, so I'm just not going to try. Because that's not loving yourself. Does that make sense? So somebody who's not athletic or can't hold a conversation with somebody, say in high school, they might think of loving yourself as just like honing that and just trying to be the most unathletic person, trying to be, kind of a skinny boy, somebody who
it's your boy.
They become a furry, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They try to be as emasculine as possible, and that's not loving yourself, because you're not becoming your full potential, really.
Yeah.
You're not trying to work towards being the best person you can be. You're just accepting who you are at the moment.
Like, there's a difference between accepting like, just because you're not talented at one thing doesn't mean you should completely give it up and just resign to whatever the worst version of yourself is.
Yeah. You should always be striving to get better, and that never stops.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you have to know your limits. Like, I'm not going to be a professional pitcher in the MLB. Like, I know I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be a mathematician.
You're not going to be a math elite, dude, on the stage with the buzzer just going.
Yeah, I'm not going to be a math elite or anything like that.
What is 4 divided by 9?
Don't stop right now. Whip out the calculator. But yeah, you kind of have to know who you are. I mean, or know your limits in that regard. But work to be better. You have to have goals. Goals never stop.
How do you...
Make sense?
Okay, but if you do... Okay. So if I'm sitting on the other side of the screen, I'm saying, but Josh, I'm really not athletic. I'm really, like, I'm not good at this. Why? And even though I'm working on it, like, why should I love myself? Because it seems like I'm not good at a lot of things I try. It seems like I'm not, it seems like I don't have a lot of things to love about me.
Sounds like good old victim mentality to me.
But I'm just saying,
critical theory,
if
dude.
You're that person, like, and, people keep calling you a victim, it's like, is there something that they should, while they work on getting better, what should they love about themselves?
They should love that they're trying to be better. As long as you're trying to be better, dude, I think that's better than not trying.
Art Williams said it best. All you can do is all you can do. And all you can do is enough.
Okay. I think I've heard that before.
Because if you're not doing all you can do, then it's not enough.
I don't know if you want to keep going on this, but I think to rap.
Ooh, lay one down for Drake and Ken.
No, I think to wrap
it up.
Knowing yourself, loving yourself. It's like we said at the very beginning, there's a balance. Loving yourself does not mean self-centeredness. Definitely does not mean that.
Yes.
Being self-centered, just thinking about yourself all the time, don't care about anybody else. We're not saying to do that. We're saying that loving yourself is knowing who you are, having a core belief, and if you know who you are, you can help other people, I think, and serve others, which is the ultimate goal.
I guess the important part is if you don't love yourself, then you can't love others.
I believe you can love others without loving yourself first.
But the Bible,
but it's not.
But the verse what does the verse say? It says.
But it's not as effective.
It's not as effective.
And being effective is key.
Okay. It's equal, probably. You can love others as much as you love yourself. Probably.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to ask one day. That was all stuff you had written down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
I'm looking at all my notes and they're like the most hard transition I've ever seen.
I know. I was reading some of yours.
I was looking at all the lines.
What's this penile?
No, don't talk about my pineal gland.
Pineal gland? Why is that just a pineal gland?
Pineal gland is actually how you say it.
No, it's not.
It's where you produce like all your dream kind of excrement. Like whenever you have a dream, you're activating your pineal gland.
What?
It's where all like it's the fluid. It's all like the wet fluid from where the dreams come from in your brain. But I was actually was thinking about this today, and we can talk about that stuff in a bit. Do you think dyslexia is real?
Remind me what dyslexia is.
That's like
because I feel like it's the same as ADHD, but I don't know if it is.
Well, it's like when people say like they can't. So my understanding is there's lots of different forms of it. So people are going to get mad at me because I'm generalizing too much. But generally, it's where they say when they look at a piece of paper to read it, the letters scramble themselves. And so it's harder for them to read because they have to, they don't look at a word and see apple. They see PPLAE.
Okay. So it just has to do with words?
Yeah, it's like reading. Dyslexia, yeah.
Do they speak like that, though?
No, they don't speak like that. It's just for reading. Like, you never heard somebody say that.
Well, I've heard the joke reading? Like, I'm dyslexic.
Oh.
Is that not how dyslexic people talk?
No, it's a joke because they're like...
Okay.
They're saying
I don't know. I don't know much
to...
about dyslexia. I'm just...
Okay, well, this is interesting for somebody that doesn't know. Okay, but, well, from you, do you think it's... because for me, today I was thinking, I was like, how is it possible that somebody can look at the same piece of paper as me and literally see something different? And then I was like, because they're saying it's a real thing.
I have a reason to believe it's possible because...
And it's also a big thing. Like, let me look up, explain what you're saying, but it's not a uncommon thing.
I was just going to say, I have a reason to believe it's possible. I don't know much about it, but the reason I believe it is because, like, other, I don't know what you call it, illnesses, but, or disabilities, like Tourette's, like, how in the world does that happen, you know? It's like, your body's capable of some crazy stuff when it's, you know, it's got a glitch in it or whatever.
Okay. So, for starters, dyslexia affects 20% of the population. 1 in 5, ladies. And represents...
Only ladies?
Yeah, ladies.
Okay.
They need to freaking get this wrapped around their brain. Men
no, 1 in 5 ladies.
No, 1 in 5 men and gentlemen.
Okay.
And represents 80 to 90% of all those with learning disabilities. So...
Well,
the thing that...
Where's that from, the CDC?
This is from Yale Dyslexia.
Yale's
Dyslexia department. Okay.
This whole department for dyslexia?
Well, it's 1 in 5 people, so that's what...
I don't know. That seems a bit exaggerated to me. I mean...
Well, you can have differing levels of it. By the way, Mike Nations has dyslexia.
I was going to say, that's the only person I know who has it. And I know a lot of people. So, like, how is that possible?
Sorry, I just doxed his full name, but...
Yeah. Monster Mike.
Oh, yeah, dude, Iron Mike. But, so...
Yeah. But he's the only one I know. And I know more than 5 people.
But the thing that I was thinking is, like... I'm allowed to think, first of all. I shouldn't feel like guilt for thinking.
Be confident, bro.
Is it possible that they just have a short attention span?
Well...
And, like, because for me, whenever I'm reading something... I can get lost in the words and things start to scramble, and you know, especially when I'm going to the next sentence, you know, I'll be like, oh shoot, where am I? I'm literally back at the top of the page and I was supposed to be at the bottom of the page. Like, okay,
you ever catch yourself reading the same page twice?
Yes, bro. Yeah. And I'll get like through it 3 times. I'll be like, I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
But so is it reasonable that maybe they just have a little bit of a focus or attention problem?
I think it's reasonable to say that.
For me, think about how crazy that is. Like, their brain is literally rearranging all the letters.
I guess. That's what it says.
Like, how is that possible? Or how... And the thing is, we can never know for sure. You know, it's not like we can see what they're seeing.
I think you're onto something with the short attention span. Because that's the same thing I think about with ADHD. If you asked me if I thought ADHD was real, I would absolutely say no. I think it's a fake disease or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I mean...
Look, a lot of people in the comments might hate me on this, but I'll stand firm on that. I'm confident in that.
I think there may be like a couple people, but there's definitely not the 80% of people that say they haven't. There's
probably...
The percentage is probably like 1% of people.
I mean, whatever it is, I don't think you need medication for it.
No.
I mean, I don't know if there's medication for dyslexia.
For treating it.
But, like, you know, like you said earlier about that, like, sometimes when I read, I do the same. I get lost, and I can't read fast. If I read fast, I'll skip words, and I'll do it on purpose just to kind of get the general idea. But if I'm reading, like, every word, like, I cannot. I'll get a little mixed up, you know? Get a little mind spaghetti going on.
Yeah.
So maybe I have dyslexia, you know?
Well, because like for
2 and 2 here.
if I'm like for the amount that I get confused reading and like how slow and careful I have to read, it's like, why don't I have dyslexia? You know, or what?
This is what I was saying. This is what you're talking about earlier with the victim, or I guess I said that, victim mentality. Hey, add dyslexia to your list. You're more of a victim. You're more righteous.
Well, okay. I mean, that's a whole nother deal.
It is.
But
I'm saying a reason 20% of the people have it, quote unquote, might be a reason for it.
There's definitely shotties in class just can't read, and they're like, "Oh, I'm dyslexic."
Well, they need glasses, you know.
You know, or yeah.
They're like, the words are blurry. I'm dyslexic.
Or they have pigeon vision. They can't see.
I thought pigeons have good vision.
I don't think up close. I think birds can only see far away. That's why if you hit them with the wet willy, they never see it coming.
Okay.
That's why they don't have ears, because they evolved over time to not get wet willied. But essentially, I don't. You know what? And somebody prove it to me. Prove that dyslexia is real. Because you can't. And
because you can't.
You know. And if you could prove it, I wouldn't be able to read it because I'm dyslexic. So get lost.
Fair enough.
Nerds.
All right. Pineal gland.
No, I got one more. What's the time at? Okay. So this is going on with weird diseases, bro. Because what?
Okay, Dr. Shane. Why we got all these?
Because I don't
doctor
know.
Stuff.
We believe in doctors, but I don't know. Maybe they're dyslexic.
We believe in doctors. What do you have on here?
All right. So another thing I heard about Forrester's syndrome, or Forrester's. I don't know.
Has an E in there.
It's a German guy, so I think it should have like a O umlaut, but you know, that's just me. Anyways, they're saying that they discovered a disease where people are essentially uncontrollably addicted to saying puns.
I just looked it up and this is completely different.
Well, no.
It says a form of arthritis.
No, you got to scroll down. You got to scroll down to like...
I got to go to the fake sites?
The syndrome, not the actual disease.
It says syndrome.
Well, they're wrong. I'm talking about the Wikipedia page.
National Institute of Medicine?
You got to look at it was discovered by Arthur Koestler, a Hungarian-born journalist. But they're saying it's been in multiple people, and they're saying it's kind of like Tourette's. But this person says a patient burst into manic flight of puns, which is insane. And it's like...
I honestly kind of want this disease.
I mean, it would be nice. Did you be funny?
Dude, imagine being a dad and just having this disease immediately when your child's born.
Maybe that's what happens.
Maybe
everybody gets hit with the forest disease. Can't see the forest through the disease.
I'm trying to think of a pun. I can't. It's so hard. Okay.
But see, that's the same thing. Like dyslexia. It's like, how possibly... Like, what if the guy just thought saying puns was funny and then he was like, oh, it's a disease? You know? Or, like, how is our brain? How is that possible?
You could say that whoever came up with Pig Latin could have just kept it to himself and was like, this is a disease. I say words with ingle at the end of it.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
Inkle,
uncle,
no.
Sin the inke.
Nah, dude, they probably were saying, like, wait, what do you say at the end? M-A-A gay, But
M-A-A-gay.
So,
yeah.
I lay isin lay a gray, like reggae. But so
yeah, it's like, who's to say what's a disease? How do diseases even?
But tell me how you think
classified?
The brain could just all of a sudden, dude gets hit with a sharp right, and then he just can't stop.
Dude, we don't know
puns.
half the power of the brain. You know that dude Ralph? Is his name Ralph? Somebody got
a couple dudes named Ralph.
Got the rod stuck through his head, and he survived, and his whole personality changed.
Oh,
how does that happen? I don't know. We don't know. think his name's Oswald. Do you know he got that rod through his head and was like, I'm changing my name. Oswald's stupid.
I think if you got hit with a rod through the head, then you would just like
die.
You have so much like liberty to do whatever you want, you know? Like, because you're like, how are they going to argue with me? I could say literally whatever and be like, dog, a rod went through my head. I do like children. You know? And you're like, I'm 9 years old again.
You think he became a pedophile?
I'm saying you could, and people would have, like, obviously they wouldn't let you, but people would have to kind of like accept the fact, like, oh, I got knocked back to 9 years old. So I feel like that one's a little bit easier to fake. But it is also, if they're doing it for their whole lifetime, that is commitment. If they're faking it, I think that would be pretty hard to. But you know. So.
Oh, I guess we need to get a doctor on here.
We do. If there is a
Have
doctor,
him explain.
we will.
Hey,
we will
any
interview
listeners with a
doctor.
PhD, we need y'all on the show.
What kind of doctor would you want? We want an
Oh,
optometrist
PhD.
or
Probably like a dentist. I need to get a
a
checkup.
dentist is not a doctor.
No, I need a checkup though.
I've never met one dentist that felt like a doctor.
Are they considered doctors? No,
Yeah, they're doctors, but
they're not considered
know,
doctors.
they're dyslexic doctors. You know?
I'm trying to think of what a dyslexic doctor is. Like an eye doc. An oc doc? What is that?
I don't know.
Like a
Ocductor.
like a ZocDoc? You know that website?
Zuckdoc.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Yo, ZuckDoc. Have you seen Zuck's new look, dude?
Zuck's hot.
Bro's a gangster now.
Zuckerberg make me want to,
Dude got
squeeze
the
a
drip,
bird.
bro. Oh my goodness, Oh my dude, have you seen the trend regarding like white men marrying like black women and how it like they changed their
Did he
whole
marry a
appearance?
black girl?
No, I'm saying it looks like he did because he just turned pimp. It's so funny though.
I mean, it's
But
kinda
he's
awesome.
still so awkward, dude. Like I seen clips of him trying to act normal like at UFC fights.
He's like,
Yeah, he's just looking around.
He goes,
trying to grab stuff.
yeah, right on.
Right on, brother.
No, wait, he just tapped him. That was cool.
Give me some skin.
No, wait, you come here every day? Sometimes I do.
He's just using like some slang from 2008
Yeah.
still.
Dude, that's rad.
Yeah, like he's still at Harvard. He's like groovy. I don't know what they say.
But I think that happens when you like either figuratively or legitimately sell your soul to the devil. Like like one of two things happen. Like
All right, wrap it up.
he literally,
Get
in
through
order
this
to
quick.
be as successful as he was, you have to just forget relationships entirely and only do one thing. You know? Like that dude went in his closet and just started coding and didn't stop for however many years. And so he just became a robot. You know they say you're the sum of your 5 friends?
I've never heard that.
I mean, dude was only in a room with a computer, so how do you think it different?
What if he's the first AI?
I think he is. I think Zuckerberg is AI with us.
Give me the Zuck.
AI Emmanuel.
Maybe he had like a short, during that Facebook Live where he's like, "We're about to apply the sweet baby rays." He just was programming, is like got stuck. He kept saying it. It's so
we
funny.
need to make an AI that's like a Down syndrome AI.
We need to have an
that gets,
episode.
Like imagine an AI that gets hype about random things. Like, okay, imagine.
Are you saying that's Down syndrome people?
Yeah, like you know how some Down syndrome people they'll do like they'll get really hype about
Food.
WWE.
Okay.
Imagine if we could do an AI and it's like a random number generator, but random AI generator. Like spit one out with Down syndrome, and it's just fascinated by like cars.
The Undertaker.
So you'll ask it a question like what's 9 plus 10, and it'll say 19, but in the 19th year of the Model T was created. That'd be lit.
What's 10 plus 11? 21. That's the number of Lightning McQueen from the movie Cars. The hit Pixar movie Cars.
Down syndrome AI would be nice, and you could use it for all kinds of stuff.
Syndrome AI is crazy.
like Down syndrome, like it just gets fixated on candles or something. It just starts like it. Sometimes you know how like sometimes you Down syndrome people start talking to you like uninvited. Like it starts typing to you uninvited. Like you don't even say anything, but you get a message at like 3 a.m.
No, that's creepy. Then that's
no, he's not creepy. He's just
it is, bro. AI
he's just Down
talking.
syndrome. He just sends you a message and he's like, "Hey, yo, look at this vanilla candle."
You think it might have some nose in there? some
Some
nose.
some what?
I'll get canceled. I can't. No, I'm not gonna.
No,
explain
dude,
it.
it's not gonna.
I'm not gonna
It's not
explain
gonna glitch. It's a computer.
I didn't say glitch. I didn't say that.
I'm not talking about the AI glitching. I'm talking about it getting fixated.
Okay.
But
Maybe, yeah.
you know, we're being too restrictive with we're AI. We're like saying, "Hey, be smart." How about don't be smart? That's cool too.
Well, you've seen those videos of AI talking with like ums and ahs and pauses in its talk.
that stuff's weird. That stuff's scary.
There's gonna be a time where we get Tourette's AI. It's gonna start cussing us.
Dude, dyslexic AI, it starts sending you all the messages like all scrambled.
Oh, what if it like brainwashes you into thinking that you're dyslexic by just typing in the words with the letters, mixed up?
No, bro, it plays a prank on you.
Yeah.
It starts coding all of your letters to be scrambled.
Starts gaslighting you into thinking you're dyslexic. That's crazy.
Dang. AI?
No,
Ooh.
I was going to say, we need to have an episode written by AI, like a whole script written by AI. Think we should do that?
Yeah.
We need to have some like...
Or at least this segment.
Some
it might
prompts.
get kind of boring, but...
It might, but we need to have like the Patreon ask us like prompts to put in there or something,
I think it'd be interesting to say, hey, write an outline for a podcast for like an hour of stuff to talk about and see like just random no prompts, what it comes up with. It would probably be like, you should talk about how awesome Joe Biden is. you should talk about
and candles.
how awesome.
I love candles.
It would probably say how awesome AI is. It'd probably try to get himself on the leaderboard.
Maybe. And then it's like, talk about how great the Chinese Communist Party is.
Dude, that would be a little scary.
Yeah.
If it said that.
We love China. We love China YouTube. Don't take us off.
I don't know if... I don't know. I think China's probably not doing AI because they're probably not as stupid as us. Like, I think they can just figure stuff out regular and not have to ask a chatbot. You know? Like, if you think about it, 4 years ago, everybody... when the company would send you... Like, you go online and try to ask the company a question, they would pop up a chatbot. And you go, I don't need this stupid thing. I want to talk to a human being. And now we're like, chatbot.
No. I'd rather talk to a human being.
Now we're like, it can answer all my questions. If I just ask it 6 different times, 6 different ways so it can figure it out. I think we're getting entranced by stupidity. But
sometimes I do want just like AI people to make my Chipotle. Dude.
True, because then they would stop giving me half scoops of rice.
Bro, let me tell you what happened to Chipotle last week.
Okay. Tell us.
Ordering my food, obviously. Go up to pay. I got a bowl. Or I guess a salad. There's no rice in it. I got a salad. I was like,
okay,
all right. $7.60, whatever. It's like, sweet. Pull out the app, obviously. Got to get those points. Honest reward member here.
Yeah.
Pull up the QR code. I swipe to the right. It says, "Oh, you got a free drink for your half birthday."
Ooh.
It's like, okay, sweet. This expires in 2 days. I'm gonna use this. I go scan it. She's like, "All right, your total's gonna be 13, whatever." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I paid, and then I realized it didn't take off the drink after I had filled up my drink.
GG.
Anyway, I was
bad at math, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't. I was not paying attention. Shut up, bro.
Exhibit A, Your Honor.
I just wasn't paying attention. I was thinking about something else. So I go back up there to pay, and my buddy Sam is there, and he's ordering after me. And the manager was standing next to the lady who was at the register.
Yeah.
And Sam was about to pay. And I was like, showed her my receipt. And I was like, I just scanned for a free drink, and it didn't take it off. And she like was like so confused.
Yeah.
She's like, no, that's because. And I was like, no. And I showed her, and she was like, oh,
excuse me.
But the manager standing next to her was like, there's nothing. He looked at me right in the eyes. He's like, there's nothing we can do about that, man. You got to catch that next time. Said that to me, and I was like, I looked at him. And I was like, I have to catch that, not her. And he was like, no, there's nothing we do about that. I was like, I was about to lose it, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I just left. But Sam came up to me because he used to be a manager at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And he was like, bro, that was the worst manager I've ever seen. He told me it was my fault.
Bro, there is something in the air, bro. People are like,
we need AI at Chipotle's now, dude. I can't handle that.
okay, see, Down syndrome Chipotle AI, where it's like, you want a bowl? I love bowls. Like, that would be hype.
Yeah, I guess.
You just somebody getting super hype about all your rice and bean combination.
Yeah, but I'm never going to tip AI.
You wouldn't have to.
No, dude.
Do you think, okay, so like, what do you think? Because it's kind of a cop-out. Everybody's like, oh, COVID happened, so everybody's got like a bad attitude. Do you think it was COVID, or do you think it was something else?
They gave everybody a bad attitude?
Yeah, because like customer service is non-existent.
Oh,
because like the cop-out is like, oh, everything happened because of COVID.
It's definitely culture related. I don't know if you can point to just one thing, but I don't know if COVID's that reason.
Because that's all anybody
COVID's such a distant memory, dude. I just want to forget it.
It's a distant memory until you walk outside and see somebody with a mask on.
Someone today. Someone in the gym today.
Like, I literally, every time I see it, it shatters my brain.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
And
some kind of autoimmune, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But, yeah, I understand.
When I see it, I'm like, okay, this guy has stage 7 cancer.
Yeah.
He is on the absolute edge of life.
Not that he has 40 boosters.
Also, sorry, Spotify listeners, but in order to get past the oopte logarithm A, I gotta speak in Pig Latin to get around this, dude.
What are you trying to say?
The YouTube algorithm.
YouTube,
they also just released a study, by the way, speaking of cancer, that the
Axine V.
Don't know.
It
could do.
Oh,
Pig Latin.
okay. The little.
Yeah, the poke. It can. I'm poking my friend.
Axine Vinae.
They've actually shown that people that had cancer and got it actually had a higher mortality rate afterwards. It's like, come out. And I'm like, dude.
What does that mean?
Why is nobody being sued for this? This is the craziest.
Bro, I heard somebody who was like 40 when they got it and just like lost brain function. And now they're living with their parents at 40. It's like...
Well, that's a common thing with regular... with regular things.
Yo, I saw this post too by somebody.
Like the back... I almost doxed myself.
The back ween.
Okay, wait, what do we got to say? The wieners.
No,
what should we call them?
Just the Vatican.
Oh yeah. So whenever you get a Vatican, the Vatican has a lot of times has mercury or aluminum in it, both of which are known neurochemicals or neurotoxins. So I am sure the dude lost. What is the brain? A giant neuro, you know? So I'm sure the Vatican definitely didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, probably not. Definitely not. We're totally endorsing the Vatican.
Vatican
good.
Approve. We got to get past this, bro. Last time we talked about this, we literally got a shadow ban for like 2 weeks or something. Got 2 views on every video.
Free speech is dead, bro.
I don't know why. But anyways, we're back on top. We're out here.
Yeah.
We're two honkies. We're just.
We just hit an hour, literally just now.
I guess I do want to talk about the pineal gland, but if you want to listen to the rest of that, you have to join us.
Yes.
In our Patreon.
We'll be doing a bonus, however long, segment on the Patreon.
It's going to be 3 hours.
Yeah, it'll be 3 hours. We're talking about the Vatican for 3 hours.
For $1 a month, you can continue the episode.
Yeah. So yeah, join the Patreon for $1 a month. It'll be in the description.
We'll see you in the Patreon.
See you on the Patreon. Honk out.
Yeah, we don't know nothing, but we hope you enjoy the something. We just honky that don't know nothing. You know we have fun and it does not bust it. We love you, honky. May we keep the gravy and stuffing. Gravy and stuffing. I keep your mom in a Dutch oven. Gravy and stuffing. Gravy and stuffing. Gravy and stuffing.